Don't mention the weather, Jane. Don't mention the weather. I mean, it's nearly the end of April. It's just pants, but I'm not going to mention it. I know some of you are covered in snow, so at least we haven't got that. Right, today I've got a few things to show you. I want to show you how I take Dahlia cuttings from the tubers once they've started to sprout. I mentioned that in last week's video, so I'm going to take you up to the polytunnel in a minute and do that. But first of all, I want to share with you, I've had another, well, it is a gift. A couple of weeks ago when we did our live, we had donations. We had some from Lock, and so we got the watering cans. They were in last week's video. And also we had a donation from Tony. So I just wanted to show you, because I always say anything that's donated to the channel comes straight back into the plot. So straight away I sent off to my one of my favourite suppliers, and that's Farmer Gracie. I'm not affiliated, there aren't any links. The blooming well should be, the amount I come on about them. But I've got some new plants for the pond. I've got Rudbeckia Goldstrum. Now, I had this plant last year and it flowered absolutely beautifully. I'd never grown Rudbeckia before, and I was absolutely just fell in love with it. It kept going for such a long time and it was a hive of activity. And then what I've done this year, I believe I may have dug it up to put the Formium, the plant that we I've done that. So I've had to buy another one. But that's fine. These were all on sale. So I've got another one of those. So I know that we're going to have a huge splash of yellow. I have got another Verbena boreansis, because that got dug up while we were actually putting the pond in. And this other thing, there's a Monarda. So it's a bergamot, but it's white. And again, I've not seen a white version. I've grown a pink version before, I've grown a red version before, but I've got a white one. So anyway, I'm going to show you what you do with plants as soon as they come through the door. These are only had them for about 3 hours, 4 hours. But first of all, I'll catch you up on what I've been doing this week, because yeah, there's been a little bit of activity going on. I also started to clear out the top plot. Which actually, it isn't as bad as it looks, because what happened was we top dressed it with some manure, and I think the manure just must have been full of grass seeds, because as I'm pulling up these grass clumps, they're just coming up so easy. They're so shallow rooted. So although many of you are probably shouting at the camera, don't leave all the soil on, shake the soil off, you're wasting it. These serve a really good purpose, because as soon as they get pulled up, they go straight to the chickens and they have a great time investigating them. And I finally got round to replacing the errant blackberry round the arch. But once I did, I realised something that I'd forgotten about completely. So let me show you. Okay, yeah, so while I was putting the blackberry back round the arch, all these weeds around here, mainly I think this is wood avon, as you can see there's been some dandelions as well. I wondered what these were, and I remembered I put some garlic in late last year and I didn't dig it up. And so what's happened is each individual clove has started to sprout. And what I should have done, if I'd known, what I could have done earlier on is replant them as individual cloves, but I didn't. Oh, this one's right next to a snail. And so, oh dear, look at that. That's not good, is it? Off we pop. Okay, let's just have a look, see if I can pull this up, because I mean, we can use it like green garlic, although I've never used green garlic before. Greta's Garden I was watching last night had a lovely piece on it. I'll leave a link below. But yeah, so what we've got here, hopefully you can see that, is we've got what would have been, oh, that's a shame. I don't quite know what to do with it. I don't quite know whether, I don't even know what sort of garlic it was. I don't know whether to just leave it in and use the tips, or use these bits as green garlic, which are meant to be absolutely delicious, or whether I should replant these, I mean it's probably way too late now, and just see if they form. What do you think? What would you do? I mean, I'll probably have done it anyway by the next video, but yeah, just let me know in the comments below. Have you done this before? Have you grown green garlic before? What would you do with these? I'd really appreciate a bit of input. This is the, oh, this is lovely, Monarda Schneewitchen. Okay, so when they come out, you'll think to yourself, where do I start with this? It is just all roots. Let's put that over there. But usually, and you can see with this one, this is why they need putting in so quickly. Can you see all these shoots coming up now? Okay, so that obviously is the top of your plant, or that is the bit that you want to keep on top of the soil. And everything else goes on or under the soil. So literally, I am just putting that like that, spreading those shoots out a little bit. Not doing this very well in front of the camera, am I? Spreading those shoots out a little bit, nestling it in, and then I'll give it a top up. So I'm covering the root system. Don't worry if you cover the shoots as well, because they'll find their way. They will find their way, and they are going to thank you so much for getting them in some soil. Right, okay, do you remember last week I said my Dahlia tubers are all really putting on really good growth now, and my blue bio has got that many beautiful strong green shoots that what I'm going to do, effectively I'm going to make it into a stronger plant by cutting bits off. I am. So on here there must be at least 10 shoots, and ideally you want there to be between 3 and 5, so that will give you a lovely plant that's not overcrowded, it's not too congested. And with the shoots that you remove, easy as pie, they will root and provide you with free dahlias, which will then go on, they'll flower this year and they'll produce a tuber, and you can keep them going year on year. So this is what I've got. I've got a hole in the bottom of this this bowl. That's what I've got. All my potting on stuff's in the greenhouse, and of course all the dahlias are up in the polytunnel, but never mind. I've got a lovely mix of, it's just council compost, as we call it, you know, green waste compost, and I've put some vermiculite in it. I'm going to have to try and do this right-handed now so you can see what I'm doing. Just to, yeah, one, to keep it moist. Do it this way. I may as well just shake it over the top and it'll fill up. There we are. But Monty Don doesn't have this problem. Okay, so I've just got a mix of compost. It's not going to be in there too long. It's just going to be in there long enough to root. Okay, tamp it down. You know what, I'm going to water it a bit first as well. So, there we are. And then, with a nice, sharp, very sharp knife. Now, I will admit to this, and I'm sorry Mike if you're watching, but I looked everywhere for my proper little gardening knife, which I hardly ever use because it frightens me. It's one of those that snaps shut, like a Swiss Army knife. But I always think I'm going to get my fingers trapped in it, so I barely use it. But when I wanted it, I couldn't find it. So yes, this is our kitchen knife. I've had to smuggle it up to the plot. So all I'm going to do, I've got my mix there, and I'm just going to find a nice shoot. Let's get one facing me. Oh, there's a lovely one. But all I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, I've got 2 here. Can you see that? Okay, all I've got 2 shoots, which I'm going to pull them apart, and each one, if I'm not going to pull them, I'm going to do it in front of you now. This knife's got to be really pretty sharp. Each one of those has got a slither of the old tuber on, and that is going to help it to root. So we don't want all the leaves. You can use a knife to take them off. I just rip them off because you want the energy to be going back down to form roots. That's it. outside of the pot. Pop it in. If you want to use hormone rooting powder, you can do. You don't need to. And yeah, that's it. Done. On last week's video, I showed you the patron pillar in the shed, and there was such a lot of lovely comments that I really hope that those of you who are patrons realise just how much you mean to the running of the plot, and you just make it that much more enjoyable. And on that note, you know what's coming, don't you? I've got 18 at the time of filming. I need 18 more subs to get to 8k. So if you are not yet subscribed, and it looks by my analytic like my subs only make up about 12 to 15% of people watching, if you're not subscribed, make an old woman happy. Go and press that button and subscribe along to the channel, and we'll just see if by the next time we see you, we'll be over the 8k mark. Because much like the patrons, the subs really make a difference, and not just for me, but they tell YouTube that people actually want to watch the channel. And yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to go down the route of buying subs, which I've only just found out is actually a thing. Who knew? I'd rather keep on my own honest line. It might be slow and steady, but yeah, it's enjoyable. But for now, I'm going to put these in next to the pond and just share with you a little mystery that we had last week. The trail cam, as you know, has been picking up all sorts of birds. We've had blackbirds, robins, pigeons, but this week we had a little jumping mouse, which actually I thought was rather sweet, and also a squirrel, which I was really excited to see. We've got so many trees behind us, but I've never actually seen a squirrel on the plot, and I really hope we don't, because it'll come and eat all of it. But it was lovely to see it. But one of the things I was really confused about was I came up one day last week and the pond was half empty. And I couldn't work out why. I thought to myself, well, it hasn't been that warm. It is only a small area of water, so maybe it's going to evaporate. But again, looking back on the trail cam from last week, there was a lot of vapour one night rising from the water, and I thought, well, maybe it's just that's it. It's just going to evaporate and have to be topped up every now and then. Anyway, carried on looking through the trail cam footage, and what do you know? We soon found what or who the culprit was, because old Thirsty Bones here, yes, you know it's you, was having a lovely long drink from the pond. So yeah, I don't know how we can stop him doing that. I mean, like all dogs, he'd rather drink dirty pond water than a nice clean bowl of water. But yeah, that solved that mystery. Anyway, I just picked these up on the way out the house. These were in pots outside the front door, and you can see now they've gone past their best. They're just little primroses, nice bright splash of yellow in the spring. And as I've said before, I want to have flowers and plants that will span the longest season possible. So far for spring, we've got some bluebells, I've got my lungwort, I've got my marsh marigold. They are flowering now. These will also flower and just help to bridge that gap before things like the achillea and the monarda and the rudbeckia and all those other plants come into force. So literally all I'm going to do, where's my hurry, here we go. I'm just going to put them here because there's a gap. There's no design to this. I'm just going to put them a little bit further forward. You know what's going to happen now? That squirrel will come along tonight and it'll be on camera digging up my primulas. The beautiful thing about these though is that will die off now and look terrible. But that's not deep enough, but they will just look after themselves, spread, and then year on year we'll get a few more until hopefully we'll have a nice bank of primulas round the pond. Oh, another thing before I forget, we have got the giveaway for the Gardeners World tickets. It's the NEC Live at Birmingham, and there's 2 tickets. I think they're worth about £56. £54, worth a lot of money. If you want to be in with a chance of winning them, you fancy a really good day out, just click subscribe. There I go again. Put in the comment why you'd like to go, and I'll put your name in the list. And yeah, next week, hopefully, by the time I do my filming, I'll be able to let you know who the winner is. But for now, I'm just going to happily put the last of these in. There's a big gap over there, so they can go there. And I'll see you all again next week. Bye for now.